context, I am having a difficult time. How do I say this in the what's it called? The civilest way possible. Reaching out to different creators and showcasing things that I think are really dope content. Mainly because on my end, since I'm in the Twitch sphere, I feel the vibration of the solar sphere of content creators behind my back at all times. So, but like, I don't want to put my lone little Vosh has some weird takes sometimes satellite in the air and then just get collided by a Death Star. um, but I was on the internet just chilling and I saw your video and I thought I was like, wow, this is really, really good. And something that I think it's really easy to make just like a long form video summary. And I think some creators try to do that. They try to like encapsulate the entire discourse in like this 50 to 60-minute like piece and then dump it on my doorstep. But you were the first video I saw in a while. It's like, you know what? While there is some commentary on my part, I'm just gonna like, this is how I see it. This is where we are, and off to the lambs. But well, one thing that I mentioned was that like I want to hear more of you, where it's like where you're at in the unfortunate circumstance of being a member of the Black community, where it's always a debuff on the internet, meaning that anytime if we're in chat chilling,
yeah,
we could be in chat chilling, but the minute we turn on a cam, put a face on, it's like, oh, word. I mean, it's not like that bad, but it's like it feels like that sometimes. So I guess where I want to start is, I guess, where did you start when it came to this corner of the internet that is political content, whether it be on Twitch, YouTube, otherwise?
So I first was just watching like Kyle Kalinske. I was very like a normie. I came from actually being right wing when I was 18, 19. I was a Blair White fan.
Mm.
And I went from being that until it wasn't to AOC ran. And that was the point where I fully divested from right wing and completely like went leftist, because I also like felt that like the undertones of like I couldn't watch Hunter Avalone back then. Like he was just like spiteful and just being straight up. Like as
Yeah.
someone that's come from that space, you know, there were certain creators I could watch, like Shoe on the Head and like Chris Ray Gun, which even if they Chris Ray Gun specifically, even he didn't specifically say he was right wing, but his material, as someone that was in that right wing pipeline, it gave off that vibe, the same sentiment, the kind of same discourse. So it was more that it wasn't, you know, Stefan Molyneux, whatever that bald guy or
Oh, yeah.
whatnot. I wasn't like that. Nah, like the overt racist shit I could not do, but the surface level stuff, because I wanted to be a tokenized queer person. That's what it boiled down to for me, though. I wanted to be
Okay.
tokenized. It wasn't a PWI. I live in Orange County. So it was like, you know, I felt different, just kind of how Blair White was. So why
Mm-hmm.
I was a fan of her. So, but as far as for BreadTube, LeftTube, that was until TikTok had like had like pushed a lot of folks, and they're pushing Hunter Avalon. I was like, what the fuck? He's like a leftist now. That's how I
Mm.
found out, was through that. So I was like, okay. So and I got introduced to Vosh, and that was my first person into LeftTubes. This is like 2020, like maybe October of 2020, November. And
Okay.
um so I had a very innocent view. You know, I didn't know how messy it was before. Like I was just taking in
Yeah.
the content on YouTube, solely on YouTube. I wasn't even on Twitch. Um Not until I got introduced to the algorithm to Dylan Burns, and Xander Hall. I didn't watch him on Twitch, but like I was just kind of like because I was watching Vosh Xander Hall videos as being introduced. I didn't know how messy he was until I saw Professor Flowers' video. But yeah, I was like really into the Twitch space of the hippy dippy challenge. It got down to the N-word debate that I've had to see live. Like
Which one?
it
There
was
were
a
many.
lot. Oh, there was many. Okay, well,
Yeah.
this is one with Destiny, Vosh, and some other. It was on Prime's.
Oh, yep, yep. I know that one.
Yeah, so I didn't fall off until Micaiah Bryant. When Micaiah Bryant lost her life, in April, late April, there was a lot of leftists that were having a lot of bad takes. And this wasn't just like Vosh, like this was just like in general, like I was solely on TikTok at the time still, like other than YouTube, but um there was just so many of us going in because there's all these people that had like ACAP in their bio, but like siding with the police because they were like using the myth of a perfect victim, which is racist as fuck. As if like we need to die like George Floyd, like massa please, like while they're standing, like no, like she's served due process, whether her like trying to defend herself was criminal or not in a stand your ground law state. Like, let's get to that. But it was immediately just because I felt to even get me more my views, because I kind of went a little bit on it on my video, but it's just very like it's the second that you can't use Black people's lives as a strong debating point, and I mean strong debating point, they're gonna disregard our lives. Literally, like, and that's what I saw happening real time at that moment, and it was like fucking with me because it was like, no, like you're not a leftist, like you're not an ally, like you can't sit here and be all in the summer like of George Floyd, like be all about it. And I'm someone that's actually an activist. Like I was in my first protest last year when George Floyd, after like a couple weeks after George Floyd passed, and it's like one of my it's kind of the kitty. But that's what I used for my thumbnail in my video. So this is what I got in the local like newspaper, and this is from a protest back in October of last year. But yeah, so it was really enraging because like I was so invested in the space, and that's what really had me like looking up like why is like the online left space so white and all these other videos, and that's how I got to find like Professor Flowers and like other creators, and it just kind of helped me slowly find the space that I wanted to be in, which I am in now. So but on the way there it was with some mess, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I just I thought it was just like the overtness and that was it, but like it kept growing. It was like a shit storm that just kept getting bigger, like bigger. And yeah, and so with that being said, like I do know that I don't know, when it came down to that woke ethno state talking point, that was me like a certain way. It's like you are not engaging with the material conditions or even the substance of what's being talked about, and it's like it's a red flag to me. Not, and it's a red flag to a lot of folks, but it's just like the whole premise, because like to debunk that, and I didn't want to like go too much in my video on about how I felt, but it's like because I didn't want to come off too biased. I have a bias ass video. Let's be real. Like it's biased fuck. Let's be real. But at the same time, like if I came speaking with too much authority, I felt like people would have listened. And also, I cut down my script. But putting aside that, it's definitely it's a red flag because they're seeing Africa in such a like minimalized like way, like really reductive. Like they see it as like a country and not a continent. So they see the people there as just Black people and not different ethnic groups. So it would not be one ethnicity. Like there's like one of the most diverse, like I go into that in a little bit of the video and whatnot, or the clips of that. So this is the whole premise of like they're disregarding that and they're being reductive, and then they're being dense with that reductiveness by going as far as to say woke ethno state. So it's like it's a non-conversation starter for me as someone that does the work that I do as an activist. So so that's like, and also when I look at it, sorry, well, I just feel like the conversation that's had online and the way they talk about it, it's like you would not talk about that with a black person in real life. Like you're online, like you can like into these hypotheticals and these deep things, but like in real life, when you if you would come to that at my protest with that bullshit, like I'm sorry, like it's not gonna be. You're gonna get checked in front of a whole crowd, and but that's probably why they're online.
Well,
So
I mean,
people.
yeah, it's a whole other. Like, I mean, and to give some people context, I was prepping some evidence behind the scenes. So for those of you who don't know, there are two things kind of colliding at the same time. The first thing was the conversation between Flowers and Vosh, which later became Flowers and Dr. Heimdall, which then became Flower. It was a whole clusterfuck. But and even I have my own video. Look at this. Look. I don't know where this thumbnail was found, but there's my dumbass face from years ago, like maybe like start of 2020 or start of 2021. Then there was the Black Hammer situation, which like I covered on my stream about just like land back, like their representation of land back for colonized people, and my I'm surprised and don't like I didn't. I'm thinking I'm relatively smaller, so like my takes didn't get like sucked into the madness, which is basically like logistically, I just had so many questions and concerns, and I wasn't exactly sure if what was going on with Gazi Kozo, who was the organizer of Black Hammer. Then to make matters worse, he paired up with Gavin McGinnis. I'm sure you probably saw about this, where he paired up with Gavin McGinnis around what was it, maybe 4 or 5 months ago. And then that was for a lot of creators like the
I didn't see that.
yeah, it was it's it's very weird because this is a person who interviewed or had a debate with Gavin McGinnis a year ago, at the point like maybe a year ago, like around this time, talking about like Black liberation and the Black struggle, and he pushed back at every point on this man. So it's really bizarre to me to see like a year later, he's on, well, not totally bizarre, but a year later, after this man basically dehumanized him in front of his audience, he's back in this space, basically sort of parading himself as this sounds kind of fucked to say, but one of the good ones. Where it's like, see, look at me, we're not all bad guys. And it's like Gavin McGinnis hates Black people. So it's like, what is this? And the reason why I bring that up and sort of contextualize that is for some creators who believed that there's no difference between a white ethno state and a Black ethno state, that would see something like that, and then that's like you see, guys, you see, look over there, look what they're doing in there. And it's like, wait, hang on. No, we can acknowledge that both of these individuals have problematic views from different angles, but to conflate even the idea of Black separatism to Gazi Koza, that makes absolutely no sense. Meanwhile, like the first thing that you get in most like Africana studies courses, and even like in like Black history courses about like dueling ideologies, is literally Marcus Garvey and W.B. Du Bois, and like it's like the first like I learned about that, of like here's like the like a foundational concept of Black nationalism, and these are how like these things can kind of go from one way to another, but like these aren't the be all end all. Because I remember there was somebody in the class that I took when my teacher explained that like the NAACP has a little bit of Black nationalism in them, and someone was like, what? And it's like, yeah, because it manifests in different ways. And then like the whole room devolved because it was like, but how are the NAACP Black nationalists if they have white people in it? And then I could tell my professor was like morphing in real time of like, did he just ask me that ridiculous way? Gotta say a teacher. But I guess a question I have, because I would say that for you, the vibe I got is that you were I almost said a chatter. I have a thing in my mouth. It's fucked up. Um, you were essentially like a chatter and just an observer of the content within these spaces. And then it kind of like you're at this sort of like precipice where it's like not precipice, but like at the wall of like, okay, there's different ways that I can engage with this content now and got into content creation. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, but also like to give a little more context,
Sure.
the situation gave me depression, like, or it made it worse. It really felt like collectively Black people were being gaslit. Um, and it was like, and it wasn't just like once the debate ended, like it was ongoing. So it was like very before John the Duckins video, and I think his video didn't come out for like 3 weeks after the debate, or almost up to that point, 2 weeks, 2.5, 3 weeks. So between that period, it was so depressing, and it was just us like fighting people off in the fucking comments and on Twitter, and it just made me for months, like I felt like even like with my protests, I didn't feel the same. I just felt like this kind of like down. It's like, damn, like people don't really fuck with us. Like they really, I knew they were conditional. You know, I knew that was capable, but I didn't know to what extent. And that's why I categorized a lot of that as a catalyst, because it was a catalyst for my own depression. But yeah, it just got to the point where it kind of boiled down to I saw Vosh make a video. And I usually don't even try to have him on my radar, but I just saw like when I was looking up to do some like personal like research on if I wanted to actually do this or not. He made a video about him just like I'm in my I guess it was clipped by one of his fans account, YouTube accounts, but that he's in his Joker stage, that he's just like and like immediately went after Luna Oi, like, okay, I'm in my Joker stage and like tweeted that they're a Nazi or flip them like out like in context. I'm like, oh hell no. So that's what we about to be on in 2022? Okay,
Yeah.
so we can be on this instead. And that's what encouraged me. But also like the video was supposed to be way bigger, and I just cut the script in half because I thought I was showing too much of myself and I was showing coming off too biased. So I really like reduced myself to 12 minutes is what you guys got. But this video was like originally supposed to be like 34 minutes,
Oh wow.
but I didn't want to like go to that extent where people get bored and just like again, this is my first video, so this is my first like I literally like paid for like the software, just like let me give this a try, let's see how this
Yeah.
goes. And so I'm all for criticisms, like it's my first video, like but
Yeah.
definitely yeah, that's what got me into it. It was just like seeing like, oh fucking well, I guess might as well. So uh and also I wanted to release it on Black History Month because I was like if I'm gonna release anything, the attacks would be minimized. If it just a potential. I was like, release it during here so they can go soft on me. So I can just delete your comment say for in Black History name, like bye. But so it was very strategic. I was trying to get it on the first, but I ended up getting it on the second.
Yeah.
But
Oh
yeah,
man.
so but yeah, I worked on that for like 3 weeks, and it was a way for me to detox my depression. So I
Sure.
basically got rid of a lot of it by making that video. It was very therapeutic working on it, clipping this like it was like very much like me validating myself and like what I saw and what I went through and just like collecting them all together. So like just like the editing process and looking at all the clips I got, it made me feel good. Like, okay, like let me at least bring the facts. That's what I really like. Or like, I collected a bunch of receipts pretty much, put them out there, gave them the context that they needed, the minimal context, and then like added little crumbs of me here and there. And then next video, I for sure will give more of myself, and I actually probably will go up to like 20 to 25 minutes and like actually like not rely on the clips more than my own voice. So yeah, sorry if that was a tangent.
No, no, that was really, really good. Kevin FM brought something up, which I think is a really good question. It sounds like basic, but I think there's a little bit to unpack there. So we asked, how would you characterize white leftism on Twitch versus what leftism actually should be about? And then he elaborates saying it's a basic ass question, but if there's such a backlash against something as basic as black nationalism and black creators in general, it seems like leftist Twitch, he puts that in quotations, really boils down to white privileged liberals talking about things they don't understand. And he's a member of the white delegation, so there's a whole meme in my space where I can't racially identify white people anymore. I'm suspended from that identification. But since Kevin said it, we're ready to play basketball. But I think, like, for me to answer it first, and I'm wondering your thoughts, is that I think that one of the problems in online spaces right now is that if I was a viewer going right into it from the jump, like from day like one, it feels like there is this true path that you must approach. And then if you do have any sort of ideas, beliefs, or concepts that go against that true path, it gets pushed back in different varying levels. Obviously the most content heavy and sometimes very cathartic is when your favorite leftist streamer, content creator goes after a overt conservative. Even some that are more like the more farther right, where it's like, oh, these views are clearly dangerous, and we're going to excavate how dangerous they are and kind of laugh at them. And I think that approach may have, and this is my personal observation, may have tainted our ability to navigate around messy concepts that exist on the left. So, like for an example, black separatism is not hateful ideology, in my opinion. Now, everything else that tends to gravitate around that can be. Like, you'll have, like, for example, like the meme that I do in like my community is like, these systems aren't for us. And these are actually the things I hear from members of the BLA in Jersey, where they'll start with like, these systems aren't for us. And it's like, I agree. And we got to dismantle these systems and build new ones that they're more equitable for all. I also agree. And then you get a black Israelite peep its head up and go, and that's because the Jews did it, right? And we're like, wait, what? And it's like, no, see, we are actually the first. And they're like, whoa, what are you talking about? And I think what happens is we understand that there's multiple approaches to a situation, observations based on people's experiences, but there's a way that I think it's not delicacy, but there's a bit more listening that I think is required for people who aren't members of marginalized groups when they hear these arguments and these ideas for the first time. And I think for creators in all spaces, whether it be YouTube and Twitch, they're not really exposed to the way marginalized people speak about things, because I think by and large, like, I know it just as a black adoptee, we're just kind of used to talking about these things with each other. And then when we finally go out into the wild and like express certain ideas, people are like, whoa, what do you mean that like white people should be careful when they're adopting black children? Are you saying that white people can't raise black children? It's like, no, we're just saying that like there's a level of delicacy. What do you mean by delicacy? Or, black people aren't victims. And it's like, oh god, here we go. So
They don't know nuance.
yeah. So I'm wondering, like, your I don't want to like inject too much of my opinion, but I'm wondering like your thoughts within that question of like where like how do we like get here? But I guess to reword this question, like how would you characterize white leftism on Twitch versus leftism? What leftism should be about?
Well, I'll say this. The way I observed Twitch being in the space, I think it was about like a good 8 months. I gave it a chance. It was good, a good 6 months, and then the Ma'Khia Bryant stuff happened, and I kind of tapered off a month and a half after that. But I'd say the Twitch has it plays respectability politics.
Yeah,
Let's keep
and
it
feel
real.
free, by the
That's the
way,
way I see it.
not to cut you off. Feel free to. I'm going to use Twitch and YouTube interchangeably sometimes. Just a heads up. So like, if you hear me say Twitch, I'm like, I'm just slipping because I mean like broadly within like content spaces. But sorry, keep going. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Thank you. Okay. Um, so yeah, I feel like it's respectability politics, like flat out. Like it's the easiest, the most basic, candid way to explain like the type of behavior that's enforced on like black leftists in the space. So if you don't play into the respectability politics of Twitch, the Twitch respectability politics, it's another just form of like status quo. They have you like walk, and if you don't fit a certain mold and your language is challenging their thoughts of things that they haven't really fostered or been able to foster thoughts on, especially because it's coming from a black person. And also, like the other layer I have to add is this is Twitch, so the demographic of people that are on Twitch compared to people that are in other spaces, Twitch is a very isolated. I don't want to say isolated, but it's like again, like who has access to computers more? Who has access to more gaming? Who has access like and it's the same thing for YouTubers, like who has access to more YouTube equipment? Who has access to disposable income? So you're dealing with a very select group, and again, it's not obviously like we're going on percentages, but there's going to be more white leftists that probably went through their Gamergate stage on Twitch that now like kind of on the clip in I included in my video where it's like TJ1 says like how white leftists and like at the early 2010s they kind of sound the same, they talk the same, and they kind of do that same way in Twitch. So I feel like I just feel like it's repackaged in the leftist way, but it's like the same thing, just like with it kind of like right left in America, like kind of the same shit, just different in different ways. You're more extreme in others, and obviously against some certain things. But yeah, that's kind of the way I see it. But I will say, in a more generous way, there's capability. I just feel like me personally, because I thought it was Twitch, after seeing how everything went down, to me personally, as a black queer person, it's not worth it for me. I'm sorry. I'd rather just make my
It's
video
cool.
essays and hide behind the comments.
Hell yeah. That is the true way. It's funny that you brought up, there was one thing that um you kind of reminded me about that I didn't even how you would say, all right, so I saw Scream today and I was just listen, I'm not a Scream film fan. I just watch it for the memes and I just like paying attention to different horror films. So I'm sitting in there and there's a clear point in the film where I could feel the audience getting lost in anti SJW rhetoric. If that makes sense, where there's like a really very movie-esque shot where it shows Sidney Prescott, Gail Weathers, and then the female protagonist that's in the film, all standing by three as a trio. And that's like the second to last shot in the film. And then my brain goes, "Oh my god, the writers are gonna hate this," because like something that media can do sometimes is kind of expose how people feel about stuff. Where if I like, for me, like the new Ghostbusters, like the new one, not the one that people got upset about. I had
Mhm.
no issues with that film from front to back, but the entire time I'm watching it, I could feel like, oh, I know exactly who's gonna hate this. And then like I was sitting in like my spaces of friends, and they were giving the same kind of like talking points that I thought people would make unironically on the right, where it's like, why does it have to be women though? And it's like, why does it matter? What? And or like when like the most recent was the Snow White controversy, where the actress who plays Maria from West Side Story, she's now in the new Snow White, and people were furious. It's like, but she's not white. Why do they have to make the character not white, the historical white? I'm like, yo, chill. You did say that for Cinderella years ago. What are you doing? Like, you've clearly been over this. I'll go for it. Sorry, but
I was gonna say, on speaking on that, they didn't say shit when it came to Ghost in the Shell having a white actress play a Japanese woman. So I noticed that something that I wanted to do a video on was the fact that the right and the same group of people were all like shitting on like why can't they be white or what's wrong with it? They're playing a character, but as soon as the one that's most blunt for me is the fact that I've seen the same YouTubers that made videos defending Ghost in the Shell go after Ariel, go after the Little Mermaid. So I'm like, you weren't you the same motherfuckers making these videos? Like you're telling us we're crying, this and that, but now you cried about motherfucking Ariel being played by Hailey Bailey. Like,
Yeah. My
bye. Like it's
oh,
trippy.
a good friend of mine who is like solidly on the left, like he's a self-labeled Marxist, and he made a Facebook post that like now the sea is Wakanda, and I don't know how I feel about it. And then basically everyone's like, what? and and he was like, I just don't understand why they got to make her black now. And it's like, wait, what? And then a part of me is like, don't excavate, just let him drown. Let him drown. Let him drown in the sea of all of our black friends combined. And that's what happened, where basically everybody kind of like, there was like two groups. There's like the group who, hey, certain people who are not black are going to have to go through certain levels of excavation when seeing black people, talking about black people, dealing with black issues. But let's see like where how this bias manifests itself, and then like try to handle it in a way so we don't lose this individual in their own madness. Then you have Black Twitter, who just will drag anyone and everything. It does not matter. Like the one thing that people don't understand about Black Twitter, and this is the one like the biggest misrepresentation, is that Black Twitter is not racist. They will discriminate against everyone if your take is dog shit enough. Like you are not safe. If you defend Terry Crews, you're gonna get dragged. If you defend like Jinx being in blackface and saying yeah, it's actually not that bad, you're gonna get dragged. But it doesn't matter
Oh, spot on. I
what.
actually threatened ex high school peer in 2020 with that I would get Black Twitter on her ass, and she was scared as fuck. Then
Yeah.
I posted that on my Instagram story and tagged her like, "Don't have me get put and posted the chat like, don't have me post this to Black Twitter."
Yeah,
And
I got
yeah,
dragged for supporting Lawrence in Insecure before like he had to come up in that show. Where like I would say I'm self-described first member of Team Lawrence, and everyone's like, "What? He's a piece of shit." I got ratioed out by like check marks. It's like, and I was just like, I'm just chilling on the internet. Leave me alone. And it's like, nope. It's but anyway, I'm digressing. Like the thing I want to
yeah.
get to like the second group are people who will just like look at it no matter what and kind of react in a way that they feel is appropriate based on how they feel. And I think that's important. Like both sides have a level of value, but I think what's getting kind of overrepresented, when I don't think it's that big, are people who have a more, when I say reactionary, I mean like a more emotional response to what people say is problematic. And then like people's like, oh, I can't believe this. Like no one's understanding this very simple take of like Ariel's white and she needs to be white forever. It's like, hang on, like let's dissect this a little bit. And then what sucks is that I always feel like black people are kind of in the middle of the chaos where it's like, oh, this is about us. Can we make a long form video that people watch to hear our perspective? No. Vosh is streaming right now, debating somebody on this very topic. Everybody go now. Go, 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 go. Shoot it in Reddit. Shoot it in Reddit. Put it everywhere. I mean, I'm going after Vosh a little bit there, but he's not the only individual where this happens. Where like there's like, oh, this person is talking to this person about this like niche, relatively niche topic in the popular debate sphere to with a black creator or with a member of like the indigenous community. It's like such a weird navigation. And it makes me wonder like and this is like I'm loading up. I'm loading up to this question. Do you think that? How do you? I'm gonna posit an idea. I just want you to like maybe float with it for a second. And this is not like contextually speaking. This is not a dig to you. It's not a dig to any other creator. But it feels like Black creators, Indigenous creators, creators from marginalized communities, it feels like they're transitioning to being essayists as a way to combat the very discrimination that they experience in those spaces. I was wondering how you feel about that idea.
You know what? I do feel like a portion of us that is exactly us. I'm part of those people, but also like I do feel like a lot of essayists in general are combating everything through video essays because I feel
Right.
like it's um it's a body of work that we put together that we put out in the world. It's okay, like I've checked it. Here it is. You know, this is my my links and everything and whatnot. But anyways, it's I feel like it for us, we probably see it as the most productive way to go about it as trying to have a seat at the table. So instead of like trying to have a seat at their table, we're gonna like foster our own and build our own. I do feel like just as much as like the online leftists that are on Twitch that are I feel like they're kind of leaning towards being the new anti-SJWs. That's the kind of vibe is coming off towards. It's almost getting masked off to that's they want to be the new wave and they want to shit on us, video essayists and BIPOC people that hide behind our well put together video, well put together. We're trying. But yeah, and again, I'm new to this space. Like, I'm surprised that anyone will even want any more from me. But I've gotten some um tweets about like them wanting to see what I do next, and I'm surprised Professor Flowers, someone who shared my she shared it. She shared my video. She asked me first. She's kind of afraid that I get debate bros on me, but um, with being said, the video essays. Oh yeah, sorry. So yeah, I do feel like it is if we're going to go put ourselves out there in any ways, we're more likely as BIPOC going to go video essay format.
There's a lot of evidence to support the claim. A overwhelming amount of evidence. And the reason why I bring that up is because something that I've been experiencing for over a year is people pushing back to what I say. And obviously that's encouraged. But there's always this tint where it always feels like people are doing it as a way to make sure I don't exist on the platform at all. And then a part of me like just like a couple like really recently, a couple months ago, I literally thought like maybe I should prepare my I'm just gonna lay down the thought process. I haven't really talked about this publicly. It's like maybe I should just lay down like my experience on this topic, my knowledge on these topics, how I feel about these topics in a way that's very um pristine to the best of my ability, edited to the best of my ability, and then present that to the world as like my ideas and my thoughts. And then the back of my brain, like the the disgruntled employee who's been in the office for 40 years, goes like, all these other people get to say dumb shit all the time. Why can't you say dumb shit? And then like the everybody in my brain meetings like, you know what? Yeah, fuck them. It's like, yeah, fuck them. It's like, and then like, I guess the conflict that I'm noticing is that there's ways everybody's going to express their content in different ways and that how they feel is appropriate. But I'm always worried and that I think there needs to be representation in all avenues of content, especially for BIPOC. And I just feel like it's always this migration into essay formats, into long formats, into places that again that's like against the hegemonic norm that is like streaming and content creation that's live. And this might be a reversal. I think that's a good thing. Like, it seems like essayists and people wanting to be essayists is maybe the way that people are pushing back against the status quo that is sort of like Twitch content curation, YouTube content curation, stuff like that. I have no question at the end of that. I'm sorry. It was just an open-ended thought.
No, you're good. No, it's very isn't like it's the only way. I do feel like there's other, and I'm not exactly sure what's the other type of content and what on LeftTube other than like video essays and people uploading like their Twitch streams, but I do feel um like I don't think Twitch is doomed at all. I do feel like we're in a reconstruction period, and I feel like it's the video essayists that's trying to like, we're not saying debates are bad. Even in my video, I say it's not, but it's like the form of upholding them above other things. So we're trying to collectively correct that. So I do feel like as this year goes on, there's going to be more probably video essays on deconstructing things in a way that I think will be more unbiased if it's made by mostly white leftists that which I'm being proud of, like people like Noah and again John the Duncan. He honestly, again, like his video, if it wasn't for his video, I don't know how I would feel now. I probably feel more anger and resentment of the situation compared to now, where I felt like that was able to let me heal a lot of anger. So I feel like um as it's helping other BIPOC, it's also gonna like, I feel like in a way, because it de-radicalize them, slowly de-radicalize, and I think it's gonna be clear like who's made their camp where they just feel comfortable, like, you know, I'm a toxic asshole. That's why I follow this person. It's what I enjoy. They represent my type of behavior and the stuff my values, and I'm fine with that. And fuck you, BIPOC. Oh well. There's those people, and there's gonna be people like, you know what, that actually are gonna be, you know, mature, if they're not just teenagers. They're mature and like, you know what, I was wrong. You know what, it's time to turn off a new leaf. Let's do better. That's what we're trying to go for those people. Like that's the end result, is that I feel like there's so many people that's so caught in the respectability politics of the way how Twitch operates that they're too biased in themselves to really fully take in what we're critiquing for some of them. So like I feel like as we get deeper into this topic, because I feel like my video was just like trying to like put something out there that I feel someone, because it was an evolving situation, it wasn't just a debate and it ended there. Like it kept evolving with, you know, as you know. So I feel like if there's other folks that make videos closer to mine that kind of gives a breakdown on like how the space operates, we can at least also new leftists will enter the space, and then they're gonna at least have a better understanding of how to navigate leftism. Sorry, 1 second.
Yeah. Something too, and how do I word this thought? I, as many others have observed, noticed a pattern of those very radicalized people ending up in these spaces and slowly getting pushed away from this space. Like I don't want to, I think you get this too, where it's like those people exist, and that's a really cool thing to see in real time. Like the chatter that was a shitter for like 6 months, then all of a sudden they have like you see like good takes, and it's like, what? This is the same dude that watches Hunter Athlon videos? Yep, that's the same guy. This is amazing. We got him on UBI. And it's like, but he still hates black people. Well, how do you know that? He still uses the N-word in Discord. Fuck. And that's like, but and at the same time, it's like, one thing with de-radicalization is that like it's a very intimate process, and maybe that hole does exist, where because of how parasocial relationships kind of work online in these sort of things, where it's like whether it be on Instagram, TikTok, especially TikTok, like something I think is really kind of incredible is like seeing TikTokers devolve in real time when people are pushing back on their own content and they like respond to the videos directly. There's a personal level to that because that individual is like taking some time, like You don't know it's your message, but like, sorry, they don't know. How do I say this? The audience doesn't know that like you're responding directly to them, but for that person, it's a really like incredible feeling. Like, I'm sure everybody remembers the first time they got like that type of interaction, or even like a retweet of somebody with like a check mark, and you're like, oh shit. I'm like, I only have 5 followers. Ice T retweeted me. Yep, you saw it. But at the same time, something that I don't know how Twitch, YouTube, TikTok handles these things is that for every person you pull out, it always seems like another one takes its place. So it's like this weird, like perpetual, like what's it like the I can't think of an analogy, but just like essentially like you pull one person up and it's like we got him, and then there's another person you're like the fuck, and it's like, and they might be in the same position if not deeper. Um, and maybe there's a way like Twitch can help with that, or YouTube can help with that, TikTok, but I'm still not like, I'm always like, I don't know what the prescription would be outside of people just continuing the content how they do. Um, because that's something for me as somebody who streams all the time. It's like I have some people who are shitters, absolute chat shitters, and some of them like are slowly not reformed, but like watching me enough has pulled them out of like whatever thing that they feel. But then at the same time, there's always like another one that says, "Do you don't like? Does anybody here like Black Lives Matter? I sure don't. Am I right, guys?" And it's like, oh god, here we go again. Um, but one thing that somebody asked, let me pull it up, pull it up, pull it up. Oh yeah, this is where I was going with this. What was the moment for you? I mean, I think you answered this already, but maybe I can like really pin this down a bit better. What was the moment for you that you saw within the spaces that you navigate where it really clicked of like, oh yeah, like this is really good. Whether it be like within like something of like de-radicalization or something within the advocacy of like, okay, this is like why I'm still in the game, if that makes sense.
You're talking about me specifically?
Yeah, yeah.
Like why I'm making content? Like what made me
Well,
like
well like, or really like what was like a conversation, a TikTok, a YouTube video, something that like where you saw like a content creator doing like work that really sort of like made you readjust, like that sort of like pullback
oh
moment.
okay.
The
Oh,
doc,
okay.
like the Doctor Strange thumb on the head, see your body outside of yourself, and it's like what?
Um let's see. It was Professor Flowers, actually. This is like months before the Vosh debate. Like she had a video on why left tube was so white, and it was just like hitting in a way that I I didn't anticipate. Um because I was like, at the end of the day, like a lot of everything was entertainment, you know?
Yeah.
A lot of people want to pretend like this isn't entertainment as well. A lot of it, 90% entertainment, 10% knowledge and taking. Um, Possibly, sometimes it depends on who the creator is. But yeah, it was Professor Flowers, because at first it was Cat Block, but
Hmm.
I didn't really wire my head that Cat Block was left tube. I just saw that she made a video about left tube. So when I saw Professor Flowers in the same search engine on that, and when I put out why left tube is so white, like I was finding trying different ways of typing it out, and I was finding getting different results. And that's when Professor Flowers finally popped up, and I was like, oh shit, like there is an actual healthy side and people that see exactly for what it is, and I'm not just like I had a feeling, but it's like I didn't think of it that deep because I wasn't in that space that long. I was only there for like about like 6 months. So, um, it really aligned that like, damn, like, there's a lot of fighting that I have to do for myself. I can't expect
Hmm.
these white leftists to, go about things right and expect, in my name, be well. It's the fact that we have to unite not only with the BIPOC but like white allies that actually are on the same page with us. And
Hmm.
yeah, I just really saw that, like, damn, like, there's oh, I think also what it also made me realize is that white people haven't changed as much as they like to say they have. That's what it
Hmm.
also showed because I feel like it's just a way of contextualizing it now. It's just the way they package it now. It's the way how they're easier to hide behind. And since George Floyd, to say this in general, like the way Vosh and other people that talked pre George Floyd and when George Floyd happened had changed in general, like, and this is for regular people too. Like society had made people's language, the way they perceive things, the way they operate, completely differently. The leftists as a whole, they as when they went from like being lukewarm with Black Lives Matter, immediately had to like they shifted, standards shifted immediately, and I feel there's a lot of people that haven't. They want to say they've done that work, but they really haven't. And that's what Professor Flower's video showed me. That's like, yeah, I'm like, in 2020, summer 2020, you thought they were actually taking the time, but it's like, damn, like it only taken like less than a damn year for people just like to go back to the same shit status quo. If now they just like they had a little period of hiding themselves or like pretending to be about it. Even like Black History Month last year, more white leftists and more white people. And I live in a space that has like 88% white folks because I'm in a college town. They were really going out. Even the schools locally, they went all out last year. This year, they're giving it like we're winging it. We might have something. Let's see
Hmm.
what we might have. Like it's very much like, and that's why I'm an activist. Like I did my protests in 2020, and then I came back here the summer to do a protest. And for my organization I work for, that's like Black centered. So I work with my own community. Um, but I just felt like, damn, like y'all were all about it last year. So where the fuck is the energy now? Why is no one protesting? Why do I have to fly in here and make this shit happen?
Yeah,
And
or
that's
even
what kind
just
of
like, or God, this is vibrating in a really, I think, important way. Where I talked about this yesterday on Dylan's panel about the truck protests in Canada, where it's very easy to get outraged by something. Like, I think that's very easy to do. Where it's like, oh, George Floyd was shot. Let me do a correction. I did two stories at the same time, and my brain is made spaghetti. George Floyd was choked out in public. Okay. Rah! And then all the black people go out, rah! And all the white people go out, rah! And then it's finally like police reform, right? I was like, huh? What? What? We love cops. It's like, wait, god damn it. And it's like, okay, everybody back inside, back inside, back inside. Beyond Taylor, rah! Police reform now, right? God, well, did you see the video footage? It was like, and then what sucks about it is that when it finally gets to the point of organization, that's when things shrink.
mm,
And there's nothing
yeah.
wrong with something shrinking after the mobilization. It's
So 1 second.
yeah,
Can I use the restroom real
of
quick?
course.
Hold that thought, and also I'm gonna build upon that when I come right back.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. We are on a break. There's my face twice. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. It's my face and my dirty ass room in the frame. There's dirty ass room in the frame. And a shoe that I killed a stink bug with. It was crawling in my room. We're just gonna, just gonna, we're just gonna, we're just gonna, we're gonna. Okay. There we go. Now you can see my cups and the shoe. Oh Lord, we're falling apart in here, huh? Did I get a haircut? I do my hair myself because you want to see what my barber did? Piece of shit. Piece of shit. This is tragic. This shit is tragic. What do you think I do down here? So for those of you who are new or come in late, we're talking to Soulbunni, Soulbunni, about the video and things kind of broadly, and now they're back.
Sorry, I have a
Yeah,
false
no, it's all good.
metabolism, and I was like holding it for like 15 minutes. I was like,
Oh,
no, I'm
Lord, I
good.
can't. I ain't, I'm turning 33 soon. I ain't about that holding anymore. Yeah, I can't do it. I'm not saying I can't do it for like physical reasons. It's just like I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. Yeah, you gotta hit
I feel
that
that.
point where it's like, if you gotta go to the bathroom, you just go. And everybody's like, what? I'm going to the bathroom. You want to come with me? No. Okay, then we're gonna chill. I'm just beaming. Um, so before
Um,
the little break,
so
talking about like the reduction that happens during mobilization, right? Like after mobilization, and then even like the apprehension of even going into a movement. Because something that I think was very strategic by, oh God, here comes the mainstream news media, is that they unintentionally scared people away from that next step of organization. Because I think that when you cover protests in such a way that you don't show the after, it gets very weird for me. Like, everybody knows about jazz, but nobody knows what happened or what's happening right now within what happened within that movement after. There's no coverage of that in the mainstream. It's like, unfortunately, the phrase "if it bleeds, it leads" kind of resonates, where it's like we get to the part that mobilizes people, but then when it finally gets to the point of like, we're gonna get together and advocate for a thing we're all universally passionate about, right? Like, but did you see the? She wasn't sleeping. Breonna Taylor wasn't. How can I advocate on misinformation and disinformation? Like, you guys don't even. I was like, wait, what do you mean you guys? First off, second off, like that we were saying the things truthfully the entire time, but within the mobilized movement or mobilized situation, misinformation, disinformation kind of flies because it does. But just because there's misinformation and disinformation within a mobilized group doesn't mean that the organized groups are saying the same stuff or even advocating for the same thing sometimes.
what I would say is like it makes me think of Martin Luther King when he talks about there was like this one interview that he had that was so spot on about how he felt like white people haven't really changed that much. It's the same feeling I felt a month after George Floyd. Was that like damn, like you couldn't even hold in for a hot minute. You were in for a hot minute already back to it. Like um I feel like, and even like when it happened, like I would feel like I didn't even see myself doing protests. I didn't even see myself speaking publicly ever. Um, it wasn't until I went to my first ever protest, and it was right after George Floyd. It was like probably a couple days after, and it was what I describe it as white anarchy. It was white
Yeah.
anarchy because it wasn't black people being centered. It wasn't then making sure we were safe, okay. They were making sure no cars were running us over. No, they was acting a motherfucking fool, and the shit had me so scared. And we wear glasses, so it was a rainy day. It rained just within 5 minutes. My glasses were so fogged up I couldn't see anything. So, and then I take off my glasses, I can't see anything either way. So I'm just like, and
Yep.
I came with a white friend. I came with a white friend, and that drove me, and he has the car keys in his pocket. And he acting a fool. And I'm losing him in this crowd of a PWI that has like 89% white people. So I'm like, I lost him like 8 times. Like, no joke. Like, I was frantically like, where are you? Like, blind, like, in a sea of people just acting fool. Like, they were jumping on people's cars. Cars were trying to run people over. Like, they were honking at us. They were like, they really went as far as to smash the back of the police car's window. Um, and that's what I was realizing. So I was like, it was like me walking up with the front, and then when I see them acting up, I like slow down. So it was
Oh
like
yeah,
this
yeah.
motion over and over and over because it was like they don't know how to act. And as soon as they got to the downtown area, that's when the cops were waiting for us, and they were
Yep.
brawling with them. And I'm just like, what really hit it for me was when I went to go hide because all I see is figures that look like BB guns. Obviously they're
Yeah.
not BB guns, and I'm seeing them fight. Like I'm seeing one of them like pulling a baton, like them trying to tussle for a baton and shit. So I go to this side of the building, and I see nothing but people of color, mixed kids, black people, Hispanic folks. They're all hiding on the side of the, while everyone that's white are just like they're having a blast. This is this And it really hit me also the end of it. It was like there was these little kids, there was like these 13, 14-year-olds. They were saying nigga. Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. This is the nigga zone. So
Okay. I was saying, did they visually see I'm black?
yeah. Now
Okay.
the other word, the C word. That's all. Oh, stop the.
Okay, we
I
ain't
mean,
gonna say that.
oh Lord.
Don't
Anyway.
worry. We'll say. But anyways,
Anyway.
but anyways, there was this little ass kid, white kid saying nigga, and then it's like this is like GTA. When I heard the little kid say it's like GTA and saying nigga to the police, I was over it. I told my friend, let's go. Let's go. I'm over it. Like, why the fuck are we out here? Why are we out here? It's raining. This has been a mess. This has been a terrible first fucking experience as a protest. And and these were led by white people, not like random organizations. So I was like, nah. So, and then I saw another protest that happened in my town, and that was more together, but it was the way they allowed, they didn't have a sense of organization well enough because they were like allowing too many white people going up to speak. And it's like, wait. Like, why are you centering white voices? And it got down to like, nothing against like the homeless or people that they're having drug issues, but there was a meth head that like demanded the mic and then was going on their tangent, and I'm like, I'm not here to hear this meth out tangent when this is right now centering black lives. Like, get out of my face. So I left, and then that's what made me want to do my own press, because I'm like, I'm leaving this up to white folks. I don't know if I was in the best hands. So it's what pushed me to do a protest. And I was supposed to do that week, but I'm pushed off to next week. But there was another one, and it was amazing. It was led by BIPOC people, and it was correct. So I do feel like in the same aspect for us with our online spaces, we kind of have to try to lead our own discussions and then hope white allies fall in line. But going back to the topic on hand, which was that point when they rile up that also like people getting enraged and all that anger and that type of energy or that emotion only lasts for a short time period. If it's not like if there's no like strong foundation, they're gonna burn out. And they go from, also like there's a whole complex, we call it the infographic industrial complex, where they can just go hide behind infographics and pretend to be progressive and not have to do shit. And I call that out in my practice because like it's so easy. And even that at that time, I was seeing some people falling off so fucking fast from even doing that. So there's so many levels of this, of like trying to even get them to go actually do something tangible is like the hardest thing. Like right now is Black History Month, and I'm having the hardest time to get these white leftists to share my flyers. And I have a following. I get like at least like 200 views on my Instagram. So for a local community, that's decent.
Yeah, it's very good.
That's decent. So it's the fact that 10%, and it's like I remember when it was all hot and about when I first got here 6 months ago, because no one had done a protest in a year and a half, aka lastly literally was me. My protest in 2020 was the last protest they ever had. So it was like, what the hell? Like, so they got a reason to go out. And also another thing is a lot of leftists, they'll show up, and this is like it's not just like limited to white leftists, but like people that are on white leftist adjacent, I'll say, is to include those people. But they get their photo op, they have their little like, oh, I did my thing for 2021. That's all I have to do. And I might share an infographic here and there, but there's just because of the movement has expanded the standards, they've learned how to navigate or hide and clone them. I'm going to clone, but like mystify themselves within the community or in the space, and so they don't have to be critiqued. I do feel like because it's easier for them to project or virtue signal. It's a whole other. I feel like the virtue signaling that the right-wing people were talking about in 2014 wasn't what they were talking. It wasn't it. What it is now. Like if they were saying it about now, I'd feel like a lot of it is, because like that's my main thing. It's like, because I talk about like when it's time to have a drink, I see you bitches. When I go out to the bar on a Saturday night, which I'm going to do tonight, just so I can see like what have you done for Black History Month, because I haven't seen you share my motherfucking flyer. I've been seeing you peeking that shit, but you talking about COVID, you can't go to protests, but you at the bar having a motherfucking drink. And that's what I'm gonna call it down. So, and I'm 23, so I'm seeing these things, and it's just like you're not lining up. So as much as like, that's why I know I'm not made for Twitch, because I'm too candid. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna do the respectively politics. I'm not gonna, And this is all me, this is my opinion. I ain't
Yeah.
gonna do the shark, whatever his name is, respectively politics, shit on Professor Flowers, use the white leftist talking points and hold her up
Mm.
to a standard of white leftist talking points and critique her through that lens of white leftist Twitch politics and uphold her and then not really go on Vosh on his rhetoric. So I'm not about to be those types. Nah. That's when I'm gonna hide behind my video essays and speak
Something,
my truth.
yeah, something that you brought up, and because you brought up Shark directly, but there's actually a thought that I've been struggling with that actually is kind of one of the reasons why I'm going to talk to Shark soon. Is that, like, I know that my space is full of black people because I'm a nationalist. Ah! No, I'm just kidding. But like the thing that I my space is very unique in a way where there are a lot of white people, but I feel like my space has a lot of, like, a very diverse background, different ideologies, different identities, and it's very, very overt in how people talk and navigate within my space. However, I'm always very, I guess it is concerned where it's like, I don't ever want my, and I mention this to my chat every once in a while, where it's like, if I ever start sounding like the school officials that I shit on when I do covering of school content, like, please call me out. Because one of the problems that I'm noticing with black creators is that, especially ones that stream predominantly, is that there's this
What, they're
line.
playing the game?
What's that? Yeah, where
What,
it's
they're
just,
playing the game?
yeah, like, you can feel like
Yes,
I
yeah.
yeah, where it's like, I don't
Yeah,
want,
they're
like,
playing the game.
mhm. Yeah, it's like, where I don't want to be an individual who, like, holds the hands of people through these complicated topics. But at the same time, it's like, okay, some people aren't starting at this at the same level. So it's like, how far back do you go before you start overtly pandering to people? If that makes sense. Where, like, oh God, where it's like, because, like, for example, one of the things that I had to do for an extended length of time was basically tell everybody that I wasn't a black nationalist, although I'm I have sympathy towards different parts of black nationalism. That doesn't make me a black nationalist when I just talk about, like, this is what certain ideas are and these are how the ideas manifest. But then what ended up happening is that, like, people would make the allegation, I would address the allegation publicly, clearly state what I said, and then it would happen again. So then I would revisit the topic again, and then it would be me talking about black nationalism. Well, I'm not a black nationalist. I'm like, okay, we're done, and I just do it again and again and again. And then a part of it where I realized, like, oh shit, like, this is the overt sort of pandering where it's like, for some creators, it's like they can say something once and be done with it, and then, like, their community is like, no, like, this isn't it, like, what are you talking about? But something that is very interesting is that although creators have different snapshots, right? So, like a picture of Hassan in 2022 of, like, what he said might not be the full encapsulation of what he said a couple of years ago, or vice versa. And something that I think people might do, or I've seen it happen because it happened to me, is that they'll take a snapshot of something and then believe that's the entire portfolio. Like, that was even something that I was very frustrated when the things with Professor Flowers happened, because I was sitting there going, oh shit, they're not on the same level of conversing about this issue at all. And then instead of acknowledging, like, okay, we're on a internet video conference talking about an issue with people from all around the world in different areas watching this as well, maybe we should, like, slow the communication down to make sure we're connecting on the same level. It just turned into this weird, like, pseudo trial. And I'm sitting there going, like, oh, this is just a conversational breakdown. And both are going to come out of this looking bad for totally different reasons. And it's like, but at the same time, I caught myself and I was like, wait, hang on. Like, there's a level of responsibility that you need to have with the guests that you bring in, and still, no matter what, treat them with respect. Because then at the same time, like if you, and this is like the thing that really got me pilled on certain individuals, is that like when they finally bring Black people in, they don't treat them with the same level of charitability and respect they do other creators. And then like it was like, oh, I'm totally
They
nice
don't
to
treat us
all.
the same.
Was
They
like,
don't
go
treat us
for
the same they treat anti-SJWs. Like they
yeah,
roll out the red carpet for them.
and like, and then it sucks because like I I watch Vosh content. I enjoy his content. I watch Xanderhal's content despite popular belief that I hate his guts. And I don't hate his guts. But the same, like I watch these creators because they are part of this ecosystem. I want to make sure I know what they're doing. But at the same time, it always seems really weird where it's like I have critiques about Vosh, I have critiques about Xan, I have critiques about SDL, Merrick, all these individuals, even that you mentioned in your own video. And but then at the same time, it's like I don't want to go to battle for like it's like I don't want it to be a battle where it's just like, hey, you know, like these are things I'm observing. I don't think you are overtly a piece of shit. So let's like break this down. But then I feel like what ends up happening that we saw in real time with Flowers is that it ends up being this like interrogation of beliefs that Flowers doesn't even hold, which was the craziest part.
Yeah, exactly.
like,
Oh my
like
god,
it, oh god, if you're gonna put
also, I
Black
do think
separatism, let's go first. Yeah, go for
I
it.
think the reason why Vosh was treating her the way she was because he didn't have any intentions to actually debate or even talk. He just wanted to like smear her name. It very much like he didn't go in there with that intention with good faith. Um, I feel like that was like a nuanced situation where he was pissed that she made video essays on him, and instead of just like, oh, let's make this an actual bigger conversation, he was just like, how fucking dare you? Let me make sure I leave this making sure I drug you through the mud. And that's kind of just like people, it was very mask off. And
Yeah.
because I had my friend that, mind you, I live in Humboldt right now, where Vosh went to HSU, the university. So I know where he got a sociology degree because I be talking to them students, trying to get them to go to my protests. Mind you way. We'll give you a little hint. The graduation rate at HSU, the acceptance rate is 90%. The acceptance rate is 90%, but the graduation rate at 2018 when he graduated for his and most of it was like under like it was like 33%. So when people go on here, because like locally, if someone heard someone use the HSU degree, they're like, I have a BA and this, so I can speak above Black people. So it's like this is the reason why like it hits deeper for me. It's like I look at it in a lens like I wish someone from this community would like go to HSU, get a BA, and then think you can go dictate the conversations of how Black national like at the end of the day like the conversation was supposed to be about critiques, but then it got into like you don't know much, but you would get laughed out of like it was these little, and those are what considered racist. I feel like that's mask off racism because that's the only they use that against Black people, solely Black and brown folks. They'll talk about you're not smart enough, while you know if it's like other person, don't get me wrong, they would use that, but like not in the way that it's like covertly racist in the way like the way they keep utilizing it, and it's like you come off that way.
Or even certain concepts of like, which is I'm navigating under, which is like when we racially identify white people for problems and issues. Like something that really stuck out to me that really just
colonizer.
Well, I
What
call
essentializing race from what they say, essentializing race.
So like something that happened to me a couple months ago, which was really funny, is that I ran into an individual, a liberal war hawk in real life, but from Canada. I was like, these people actually exist, and they're basically straight up colonizers. Like they're the entire. Like I asked this man many a question about like, what do you think the solution is to the problem in Afghanistan? And he unironically basically said, glass them. And it's like, oh. Like, yeah. And then like at the end of the debate, I said like, Kevin, you're a colonizer. And then he said, I'm not a colonizer, I'm a liberator. And then like my brain just broke. And like but the thing that was so funny to me is that got very limited pushback from anybody, where they're just like, "Oh, that was really funny." Like, he literally openly wants to like spread Western hegemon across the world. So yeah, that's some colonial shit. But then I was doing a panel a couple of months later where I said one of the most powerful electorates with Republicans are evangelical Christian women. And I kept saying that phrase every time I was talking about the issue of like, why is abortion getting railroaded all the time? Why is women's rights always feel like kind of weird when the right talks about it? And I basically said like, yeah, because like evangelical Christian women are the like powerful part of the electorate, and they hid themselves in such a way where it's very hard to identify them in the wild unless you know these organizations very intimately. And this person on the panel said and asserted in their closing statement on the idea is that like, and Joe Lewis kept talking about white evangelical Christian women, and I'm like, whoa, I never said white evangelical Christian women. That's a whole different part of the electorate that has its own set of like problems. Like, I basically, it's like I went up and like identified the group by large, but if you want to like racialize the black evangelical Christian women versus the white evangelical Christian women, you're going to see parts in the road on issues. But it's always so weird when even when marginalized people openly identify or like observe like a group, there's always this like desire to like reveal this like anti-white sentiment that actually exists among marginalized people. And then without going like, hey, if black people, or if you believe black people to have these racialized animosity towards white people, why not we try to observe the conditions that they're under in order to better understand where the sentiment comes from, why it's there in the first place, and then how to alleviate those circumstances. And that's like, no, you can't be racist. Why is this so hard of a concept? And it's like, oh my God. Like, racism bad. Yes, we all can agree with that. But how do we alleviate those conditions? And yeah, but that was just me ranting. But it's like, it's always really interesting to me how like these conversations like they're never really conversations, and it sucks because I guess like the question that I'm building up to is, do you like, where do you think, and you may have like already articulated this too, it's like, do you think it's possible for black people and really BIPOC people broadly to have critiques to people who are near these hegemonic structures online in a way that's actually productive? Like, do you think like in the state of 2020, like, I don't know if that question made any goddamn sense. 2022. Did I say 2020? Oh my God, I'm getting so old. 2022.
Well,
or I guess to like to
what's like
materialize
the
it a
end
bit.
goal with that?
Yeah, I guess to materialize it is it possible? Like, what do you think would be the conditions for Professor Flowers and like Professor Flowers v. Vosh, or this is an old cut, like No Name versus the internet, to never happen in the ways that it does currently? Where yeah, it's a tough question.
In a parallel universe, let's just say this. In a parallel, when they want to talk about hypotheticals, let's talk about hypotheticals. In a parallel universe, if white leftists actually took in the critiques and looked at it for what it was and what's actually being addressed, and they actually applied that, and then because it's not, I feel like as long as they operate in a way where it's like, oh, I look at this like, oh, I've improved myself, it's like an upgrade chip, oh, upgraded, I'm not this no more, and they will go about their day. The trauma they've inflicted and the way they've moved hasn't really changed. Also, like a lot of the times, if we don't, let me not get on that tangent. I feel like it's possible, but like in the state that it is right now, it seems very unlikely because we're right now at a crust of a reconstruction because for the
Right.
longest people didn't see a problem. It took a while for people to even took me to, I'm new to the space, but it took a lot of people for Professor Faber's debate for them to see the problem, for it to be masked up. A lot of people were more charitable to watch prior that debate, and then afterwards it's like, damn, like there's no right now saving you, I might be able to talk to your fans, but right now you're stuck in your own, however you operate, your mode that you're operating on. But
Yeah, because
I
it's
feel
always.
like
I'll go first. Sorry.
right now it just seems like a really, I wouldn't say it feels bleak, or I wouldn't be making a video like I did, but I feel like because we are pretty freshly off of like, because I don't think they've ever talked about the space like they did before until that actual debate. I feel that
Mm-hmm.
debate exposed so much. Like I said, it's the catalyst of the bigger picture that showed a lot of the problem with a lot of white leftists. And I say white leftists in general. It's not just Tish, but because most
Right.
of it's white leftists and people that are white leftists adjacent, whether that's Shark, you know, peddling white leftist talking points. That's why I included the clip with what's his name? Not TJ1, but his twin. That's in the other one with the
SD.
um, FD
Yeah.
Signifier.
Yeah.
At the end of, I
Yeah.
was going to clip off the debate bro part where it's like, that even the folks that aren't, white operate. That was me. I thought of Shark when and hey and Heem and Shark were what came in my head when I put that clip in. And it made sense why Shark ran to FD to critique him on that part because he probably felt called out, probably felt triggered, probably felt like, you know what, let's be real. And that's why, as someone that's not in this space, I feel like I have that freedom to say, you're playing the game. It's okay. You're not like Candace Owens level playing the game, but you're playing the game enough to where you're more marketable for your way for you to be successful. You want to, so that's what I see. Because at the end of the day, let's protect Black women here. So if I'm seeing you operate a certain way, you know, I'm 2 seconds away just calling you short nigga behavior, but I'm not. Well, I should already said it. But anyways,
Oh Lord. Kevin Hart
and go chase
energy.
your Becky's. I'm joking, yeah.
Oh Lord.
And but that's the low key it gave me that. But anyways, it's just like if you're going to like, if we're gonna call it as a don't come here try to police people for calling it for what it is, like we see it like you're not a Canadians, but you are peddling talking points that if you go to your own community and come with that bullshit, you'll get laughed at, you're gonna get clowns, and you'll
And
get called short nigger afterwards after saying that shit. So let's be real.
and to
So
reinforce that to a degree is that like everybody starts evolving at different points, and and there's nothing wrong with that. Like there are people who had and still do have very like lukewarm perspectives on certain topics and certain issues. And it's like, yeah, we all gotta start somewhere. But the thing that like I hope for a lot of creators is that they don't continue with the exact same talking point out of convenience of not needing to look into it any further. For example, one of the things that really frustrated me in terms of like the broader conversation about CRT, because I covered it like on my channel nonstop for a year, was that I started seeing that, okay, this group of people were clearly lied to. And nobody is going to acknowledge that a giant portion of mostly Republican parents were lied to about something that doesn't exist. And now we're politically activated in such a way that led to a candidate in office. And something that has been, for me, amazing is that when it finally came to this man promised us to ban CRT in schools, and then it's like, well, actually, it's not there, but we're gonna have to do something, right, guys? Yeah. What about all that white anima shit? Yeah, we'll ban that. And then it's like executive order, stamp, here it is. And then like it was crazy to be in parent groups because I'm basically an op. I'm a parent op in a lot of these like right wing Facebook groups. Is that they were coping on him not banning CRT And then one parent said a Facebook comment that really resonated with me, in that, like, she said that she stopped believing that it even existed when she read the executive order. And I was like, bruh. Like, what the fuck is this
Yeah.
alternate dimension? Because like the reason why I bring that up is that, like, I see people with like these talking points saying that, like, these parents are racist, these parents are sexist, these parents are transphobic. And while there is very clearly sexist, racist, and transphobic parents among the bunch, by and large, there's like an issue that they are, like, if you dig through the I'll call it like racist, sexist, and transphobic adjacent rhetoric and ideas, like when you get through the fact, like, these are just people who have not looked at this or understood this at any level, so I'm just gonna have to drown out the victim complex, like victim perpetuation, and the victors versus oppressors, like blah blah blah. And at the core of it, it's like, oh, these are parents who just want to have a bigger say in their children's education. So, like, let's grab that nugget and work with that. But then what sucks is that we would get people that, because I watch them, say things like, well, these are just racist parents. They're all racist. It's like, wait a minute, like, hang on. Like, again, yes, there's racist parents, but there's more to the problem than just whatever the popular talking point is. Like, let's dissect like the actual issue. And I think what ends up happening is that people will get to the topic of the day, whether it be like, because we're kind of like, I'm kind of circling back to it a bit, where it's like the Flowers Vosh conversation, where it's like, hey, like, maybe we can have a deeper conversation about like self-governance and self-liberation, and like how different thoughts of that are, and how like like, just because like I don't agree with somebody's opinion about like the liberation of colonized groups, like, it doesn't mean that like they're the enemy. And the thing that like it always feels is like creators like need to like pump the brakes and go like, is this my enemy? And if the answer is no, then like, okay, what, like, I need to think more in this idea before I just call them a Nazi. It's like,
Oh yeah, or even
yeah,
like the no name conversation that like blew where the debate went left because they went to the no name tweet. Um, and I do feel like again, Vosh represented the people that were outraged in that
yeah,
that whole thread. And even like John the Duckins video goes into how like No Name was right in the sense of that she's basically saying you need to work on yourself before you come to us in our space. Like we're putting our energy where we're at, but like also like white leftists need to correct white leftists. Like as much as I am a protester, activist, and I speak about these issues, it's going to take white people that go to my protest, that take my message, and go work on it in their own community to actually apply it.
yeah,
Because
and it's gonna be
I feel like a lot
messy.
of white leftists don't want to do that. Yeah, it's going to be messy, and it's a whole
And
process. It's like
yeah,
there's a whole process for de-radicalizing Nazis. I
yeah,
feel like
there's nothing wrong with it
the
either, you know?
validity of that, But like, so if you can see the process of that, I would hope they'd be able to see the same. But sadly, also I think the reason why they don't want to see that is because it would be them like having to address that within themselves, and because of a lot of white leftists want to be comfortable still. They want to just like at the end of the day, they come off as just like edgy leftists to or liberals to me, edgy liberals to
Yeah,
me, especially when they add in the imperialism.
yeah,
They become very, but it's the premise like, damn, like I really wish I really wish that if they just actually went in on that tweet with No Name, I feel like it would have pulled out something more in him, but he had to move it to something else because they were also not getting anywhere because you know and again, like I was watching this live with my friend that doesn't even do politics at all. He was getting so frustrated. He was like going off because he's from Chicago.
oh
So he
no.
knows he been in a whole like debate, not debate, a whole like poetry slam with like against No Name back when she was like a poet locally before she even did music. So it's just like, so it was hitting him a different way. Like, what the fuck is this white guy over here like? And all this, you can say things in a vast way and throw someone 6 questions and not let them answer, and then call them a Nazi afterwards. Like, it's just like, damn. And I don't know.
And
I'm sorry if I got lost in this, but it's such a complex situation that's like. And then the sad part is like when people walk away, because like I'm glad like Professor Roberts was able to like reflect on like, hey, maybe these conversations, you be careful, maybe not jump the gun to go have these particular conversations because it can damage the narrative, which was what happened. And that's the other reason why I made my videos, because I want to help fix that narrative and want to give you the full, at least context of what got it to that where you are now hearing, you know, woke ethno state, you know.
Yeah, and even
I may be shading.
Was that?
No, you're good.
No, I was gonna say that like that's like the biggest thing where I'm not like I prep my community in a lot where it's like we're gonna talk about something today. It's gonna be messy. It's gonna suck, but we're gonna come out of it sweating, ears bleeding, but better than we were coming in on it. And I think something that happens a lot of the times is that like when you come out of that topic, whether it be a debate that you just watched or a conversation that you just heard or a video essay, you might come out of it like bloodied, bruised, wondering how you have you still there?
Yeah.
Oh no! Transformers. Let me hold on. I'm gonna pop out and pop back in. Point. Check one. Check.
Yeah.
There you go. My internet spiked hard. Something I was saying is that like something that I think when we come out of those conversations, bloodied and bruised, we have to like self heal and self medicate. When I say self medicate, like assess the damage of like, and then you'll come out of it better. Because what ends up happening, I think, is that we don't do a lot of, when I say we, I mean just like broadly people for different levels, is that sometimes we need like time to figure out how we feel about something and unironically read theory and reading about these issues, listening to how people talk about these things, and then come into the conversation about it. And I think something that gets lost is that for white Americans in the United States, we don't really foster, not we, the structures, like the institutions, stuff like that. They don't foster that level of like white people, white Americans. You're going to have to talk amongst yourselves about police brutality for a little bit. And then we're going to have to close the door and we'll be outside. We'll always be outside. The door's not locked.
Yeah, before you have an opinion, you know. Yeah, I get exactly.
Yeah, and then like they'll come out and say, "I'm ready to engage in the idea," and it's like, okay, what do you got? Breonna Taylor wasn't sleeping. Oh god damn it! You were in there for 8 hours. Yeah, we were just talking about the tape though. And it's like, okay, go back in. Here's a book. Use this as a thing. And then what people end up like, and this feels like a self-report where they say of like, you just want these spaces to be segregated forever. And it's like, no, we clearly need everybody together on these fronts. But if we're trying to combat police reform and the entire time you're looking for the expansion of police funds so that cops can better arm themselves, it's like that's not going to work. Like we're not going to meet on this. Or like if we want there to be better spaces in schools for Black students and you want to expand the number of SRO officers and turn them into state troopers, this might cause some problems because like we understand like we don't need more people who aren't people trained to work with children in schools. So go back inside, talk about it a bit more, and then finally come out. But that somehow got warped to being like a segregationist view. And it's like, no, like we spend time arguing about things amongst ourselves all the times. And then they'll throw it back at us and say the shit of like, well, why don't you do it for black people? Why don't you talk? It's like, what? That's all we do. All we do is talk about these things. It's like, there's a reason why the diaspora wars are a thing. Where
Literally.
like,
I don't engage in that ever. When I see it, I hit not interested. I hit not interested. Whether it's YouTube, TikTok, I just don't engage. I'm
it's
sorry, I just
so,
don't.
oh man, but there is
I leave it for the hoteps.
I'm waiting though. There's a piece of content that I want to actualize into existence. And it's a round table between Umar, Tariq, and Kevin Samuels. I just want to watch that. I don't know how much money that will require, but I do the GoFundMe just to watch that happen and just be like, the topic is, I don't know, interracial marriage, go. And
I don't know how. I feel like Umar will quickly call out Kevin Samuels, like, "Aren't you DL?"
yeah. And then like halfway through, like you bring guests progressively, and it's like, and now we're gonna bring in Jesse Lee Peterson. Come on in, Jesse, have a good. And it's like,
Oh
oh
hell no.
Lord. Yeah. Oh God. It'd be so funny though. It'd be so funny. Awful and toxic as fuck,
Eh,
but
I know Black Twitter would have a cackle with that.
yeah. And then you bring Candace Owens in halfway through. You bring Stacey Dash halfway through, and then
Oh god, you're really digging deep.
I'm
You're
a I'm
really
a
digging. You know
toxic and
what?
I'm a
Yeah.
toxic individual.
No. No,
But
like
then again, at the same time, I don't want to give people that much fuel to be anti-black because that would, oh God, I can,
yeah. Oh hell yeah. That would just be
oh.
this is attracting respectability politics points on us.
You'd have a big content creator, like unironically say like, this guy isn't a nigga. This guy is a, and it's like, and then you
Yeah.
have people like, well, he had a point in using the ER there in the content. It's like, oh God. But anyway, I don't want to keep you too much longer, because we've been out like for an hour and a half. But I guess to close, what are sort of your ambitions and plans over the next few years? Like where do you see your journey to be, or where's it going?
So I see myself going back to school on while doing that, I want to be able to do like video essays on the side, whether it's just Patreon. If YouTube becomes not viable and I just do Patreon solely, and to continue my activism, I want to just like really tackle the academia like crowd of students, like so people at
Hmm.
HSU, the students there, because my battle is to hold white leftists to their progressive standards, to their values. So I'm I just got back into being an activist like 6 months ago. So I see myself 2 years from now, 2024 election, just like, hey, like y'all best come correct. So don't come here and be like lukewarm with us and come crying for black women to come save your ass in the election year. Like, no, come correct. Second, don't come asking for us and not come no. So that's where my work is. So I work on that aspect. So I don't have any time to like talk to anyone that has like Vosh like views. Like I'm gonna let white leftists and other people that do that work handle them. But as far as for my work, for people that want to they have at least care how they come off,
Yeah.
progressives are, that's my work. So whether that's me solely doing stuff online moving forward, depending on how the pandemic goes. I have a protest in 2 weeks from now, so I haven't done one in a couple months because of the corona, the new strain. But yeah, I really do see myself. Hopefully, if I get better at video essay making, because again, my first one, I already am cringing about like I've learned a lot in making it, so
Oh
I
yeah,
can see
absolutely.
like really cringing and reviewing my old one. But I want to be potential like if I am successful, I want to be Professor Flowers' peer and stuff like that. Like I want to help battle, counter. I want to be part of the people that counteract the narratives and the things that people that are in certain spaces, debate bro spaces, and you're not a debate bro, but debate bros,
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
know who serves that title. But yeah, counteracts that, and because if we're not gonna, I'm a communist. I don't think I ever share that, but I'm a communist. So the only way to actually achieve this,
Yeah.
you gonna have to address some sort of issues within yourselves. So I have to be part of that change. I have to help make that
Yeah, yeah.
happen. So actually have something viable of actual viable leftist movement. You know, just how like they say that what's viable. You know, what I say what's viable is you're actually addressing your white fragility. You're addressing your white supremacy within yourselves. So
Yeah, and
yeah.
even to something like that,
Mhm.
being a P, and this is like I'm talking to you. I'm talking like also I'm doing the streamer thing where I'm talking to two people at once. Whereas like I hate this job. Is it a job? I don't even know. Where it's okay to be battling things at different fronts. I think sometimes what people tend to forget is that like everybody is fighting this at different angles, and
Yeah, they're in different lanes.
exactly. And there's nothing wrong with that. And that's even the thing which is funny to that you mentioned that you self-described yourself as a communist. I'm at the point in my life where I have no idea. But I can tell you the people who like me, they are, which is a very interesting group, communists, MLs, and
ML.
black people. Broadly speaking, black people, but a lot of like former BLA members, a lot of people like or Pan-Africanists really like listen to me, but then also they're the same group that use the C word I mean more than anything else, so there's also that. But it's like it's okay. It sounds like so weird to say, like it's okay. Like for me, like if a Pan-Africanist calls me the C word unironically, it's like okay, like I'm not gonna like lose sleep over it. We're just disagreeing on a certain thing, and like we can just go back to our lanes and do the thing. Like the infighting wars of the left will always exist, and like you could sit down and like especially for communists, right? Like if you sit down 5 communists in a room and it's like okay, degrowth, go. It's like is it well, actually if you go to this it's like and that's okay, like it's okay for discourse to happen within groups, but then when you're out in the public and out into the like the light of people talking about things, you don't want to run into those traps of like, see, so these black people fighting, I told you it was always there. And it's like, yeah, well, you're peering into groups arguing with each other on issues. It's gonna happen. But like I think that I would consider you like in the same in the same vein of like there's going to be different waves of essayists and different waves of creators and activists, and like I'm old as fuck. I'm turning 33, so it's like it's cool to see like where things are going, because I'm essentially a boomer. I'm turning into a boomer. I'm turning into like barbershop dad. Like it's gonna be so rough. I'm gonna start wearing like fucking fedoras unironically and hanging out at the barbershop from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. on every day of the week. That's a little bit too deep in the meme that people won't understand. But like I'm always curious about like where things are going and where people are navigating in this madness that is like COVID plus peak racial and civil unrest within the observable reality in the past like 10 years. So and I'm excited. It's like a really exciting time to be in content and talking about things. But then there's also just seas of bullshit that we're all gonna have to navigate in different fronts. So like again, I can't stress enough that like the video was like a really like yeah, like yes. I don't know how else to describe it. Like it like um and I'm
I
like
wasn't lying. I
yeah,
wasn't lying. You know,
yeah,
I just put it out there for what it was. You know, I linked, you know, the sources in the description. You form your own opinion. But
yeah,
no,
and
yeah, I appreciate that.
yeah, and I guess like I want to give you some time so I can get you out of here. I think it's like what 5 o'clock for you. I don't know. California's in a
Yeah,
different
it's
reality, so
5:15 Eastern
California.
yeah.
Listen, it's
Um,
okay. I'll forgive this one transgression of being a Californian, but it's okay. You'll come to the East Coast eventually. It's all where the
I'm scared
true
of the East Coast. I feel like there's more racism there. I'm
um
sorry, I just can't.
mm,
I don't know.
uh,
Like I can barely handle the fucking covert racist. So if I see
oh, true.
anything like
This is true. Well, the thing is about New Jersey, right? They they say they unironically hate everybody. But the thing is that they hate everybody but then they go a little bit harder on black people. I'm still trying to dissect that. But anyway, I guess I'm going to give you a moment to plug anything and everything you got going on that you're willing to publicly disclose. That sounds really like FBI. I'm sorry about that. But like what do you have going on, and where people can find you and stuff like that. I'm
Okay,
gonna
so
get these
I'm
links
working on
ready.
a part two. I'm working to a part two to my video to kind of like wrap up my thoughts and go back to the script that I like completely removed and all the. I have like so many assets that I got in my video or I had to edit it out that I once used. It was like hours and hours and hours of time I sat there to get the screen caps, to record the actual footage of the videos. So I want to finalize because I only touched a couple people, but I need to get to Xander Hall, like get into it. Hunter Avalon, like the fact that that a lot of these debate pros and white leftists are more likely to talk up to Nazis or ex-Nazis than like black leftists, and so I want to go into that. Also, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok under Soulbunni, Bunny with the I. Um, and yeah, expect my video in probably like 2 weeks. At least I'm trying to get this one in Black Christmas, so they don't go too hard on me. Because if I put it on March the 1st, it's all off. All bets is off. So, with that being said, thank you. I appreciate the chance to actually have this conversation. It's like it's full circle for me because as someone that used to be just a observer, I've seen you in a couple debates. Like I said, the fact that we know what that one N-word debate, what Prime, panel was. It's interesting. I never saw myself to even be able to have such a fluid conversation on these issues because I'm mostly like. I'm the only one that has these conversations that knows these people. So to be here right now feels amazing. So I appreciate the platform, and yeah, I look forward to whatever discussions is built on from the type of videos I make. I'm all for the discourse pretty much, and to help folks is like understand things a bit more. But I think moving forward, I will put more of my actual input and be less on bias, even though I'm biased as fuck in the video. So, but yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I think something to that, like to close out, is that I think there is, if I were to give a little suggestion, which is an idea, not professional advice, where it's like, I think there is room for the summarization of issues. That's really where like your video really resonated for me. Where it's like, I don't think anybody. I think both can exist. Like summaries of like a situation kind of broadly in the best like non-biased format that you can as a way of getting people's like feet wet. But then I think what's incredible is that there is the ability for you to be like, this is the summary, 4 hours on Xanderhall. It's sort of like something, you know what I mean? Where it's like, then like, okay, since we summarize a situation, here's a deeper dive into within that. Which is always really exciting, and I'm pumped for whatever you do. Like I really am. The space turning into an island, so like it's always good. Like listen, man, like dope people are dope people. So like something that like personally I'm trying to do is to make sure that I give like the same. It's gonna sound kind of weird to say because I don't think I'm that big of a streamer, but like giving people the same type of like highlight and opportunities when I see them doing dope shit the same way that people did for me. Because like if I'm not doing anything that's like trying to bring it over to the new guard and a new group of individuals, then what the fuck am I doing? Like I'm not trying to end up here being like I am king of all black content on Twitch. It's like no, like I could easily get canceled for calling somebody a white boy. So it's like it's not safe in these streets.
Yeah, being the only black person on the table isn't that fun.
It's true.
Tell Shark I said hello.
Yeah. Oh, Lord Jesus. Oh, Lord Jesus. But yeah, be sure, everybody follow Soulbunni. I spammed it so many times. It's impossible to miss. I'm thinking about posting this on YouTube. If I were to do anything with it, I'm obviously going to give you a heads up. This is the part where I talk about semantics. Feel free. I'll also send this to you from like my perspective of it. I might say from my perspective, like the local recording of it, in case you want to use it for anything that you would like. Because yeah, like this is also your content. Your content is also, or sorry, my content is also your content because like, you know what I'm saying? So, and also too, like it's the final thing, like my door is always open. So like if you need like, hey, signal boost this, like if you like anything, like feel free, like the door is always open. Obviously don't like come knocking saying like I need to plant a body somewhere. Then I'm probably gonna have to turn you in there. But other than that, outside of crimes, we'll be having some good times. Bars. But anyway, yeah, thank you. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It was a lot of fun. I actually didn't expect the time to fly by so fast.
Yeah. That's how it works. I'm a decent converser. But anyway, let me get you out of here. Have fun tonight at whatever you're doing. Bother these folks and make sure they show up to your next thing in a few weeks, you know?
Yeah, thank you.
All right, awesome.
Have a good one.
You too. I'll catch you soon, all right? Oh no, my DMs! Fuck! Oh! Woo! Close call. Close calls all around.